Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Stephen.
Hello.
And Dave.
Alright.
I've done a different order today. I think it's because Dave's on the phone. My brains automatically went that way. How you guys doing?
Alright.
Aye? Oh, is that it? Alright.
Sorry.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm not bad as well, mate.
Good.
Just playing some FIFA, Ken. You've interrupted me.
You had a day off today?
I am off for this week, so...
Brilliant. We've got a chat with the football barber coming later on, so since it was just a Dundee United preview, we didn't want to drag Dave all the way through for Whitburn, so we've let him have...
From Whitburn.
Armadale.
From Whitburn. From Livy.
That's so easy to wind you up with that. I love how much it annoys you.
Armadale wind.
Okay, so we're going to chat Dundee United. We'll kick off with the Dundee United chat. So, I mean, Dundee United, I can had to look at a bit of digging in Dundee United because with them being in a different league, it's limited what I kind of know about them this season.
I know a fair bit about them.
Do you?
Aye.
You've been watching the Championship on Friday nights on BBC?
Aye, do you want me to start you off?
Aye, on you go. What do you know about Dundee United then?
Again?
What do you know about Dundee United then?
So, Dundee United Football Club is a Scottish professional football club based in the city of Dundee. Formed in 1909, originally Dundee Hibernian. The club changed to the present name in 1923. United are nicknamed the Terrors or the Tangerines, and the supporters are known as the Arabs. So the capacity of the stadium is 14,223.
Right, Dave, get off Wikipedia.
Why are they nicknamed Arabs, Dave?
Don't know.
So that's a good bit of an introduction there from Dave with a Wikipedia entry. But in terms of how they've been playing this season, they've been scoring, goals for fun. They're averaging 2.16 goals a game and only conceding an average of 0.74 goals per game. So, and looking at the last few games, they seem to be setting up with, it seems to be mainly like a 4-4-1-1. Obviously, Shankland's that one up top, which we'll kind of come back to. Or sometimes they switch it to 4-1-4-1. Might be interesting to see if that's how they set up against Premier League class sides such as Hibernian. Like I say, we'll come back to Shankland in a minute, but the guy who's going to be playing in that number 10 position has been Nicky Clark, and unfortunately for him, he's broke his leg and been ruled out for the season, so it'll be interesting to see how they go from there. Stephen, what was you kind of, before I go into like how they've been setting up, what have you kind of got about Dundee United?
I mean, they're already 17 points clear at the top, 52 points out of 21 games, which is some record. I think they're on, 34 out of the last 36 points.
That's insane.
7 away wins on the bounce. We can't even string 2 away wins together. It's not looking too good on the up front. 48 goals for and 16 conceded, I think, for the season so far out of 21 games.
Aye, it's nuts. And like Shankland, we might as well talk about him now. He's scored 22 league goals in 19 games. 2
hat-tricks and 4 goals in one game.
I was listening to the Dundee United podcast for a bit of knowledge and stuff to hear how they've been doing. And apparently the record, since 2000, the guy went back and looked since 2000, the record for most goals for either first division or since it changed to championship as well, was 25 goals. I think it was Dennis Wyness and somebody else. And he's already on 22. He's going to beat that probably before he gets his move to QPR. Be nice if he got his move to QPR this week and wasn't playing at the weekend. But yeah, looking at the team, they've kind of got a settled back four. Smith, Watson, Reynolds, obviously formerly Aberdeen, and Robson at left back. And in the midfield, there's a few names in there we'll recognise, but they seem to be, changing the midfield a lot. Stanton, we know quite a bit about, but he's came on a lot since then. He'll have a point to prove. Paul, it was a name which, we were linked with him. Yep. I was expecting him to have many games. He's only had 10 starts this season.
I've been linked with him since he was at Aberdeen.
I know. And another name we'll recognise is Andy King, who gets the odd game and might get a few more games now with Nicky Clark injured. But Osman Sow is recalled on loan. 10 games at Kilmarnock and 0 goals. The best of form at Kilmarnock, Dave, Osman Sow?
Nah, he was hopeless at Kilmarnock, to be fair. But he wasn't. to be fair, his form before he went to Kilmarnock wasn't that good either. So
Dundee United are a bit unsure how to kind of. I was listening to the podcast. They're a bit unsure how to whether to get excited about him coming back because he was shite for them last season, or whether this is just a move to sell him. Might not be now with Nicky Clark's injury, but he's not going to get a start with Shankland. What's your kind of thoughts been on Shankland's form this season, Dave?
It's been decent. He's just kind of backed up everything he done at Ayr. So folk were like, oh, but he's scoring goals, but it's only like with Ayr, and then it just shows that you stick him in a team and give him chances, he'll score. And somebody should have took a punt on him in the Prem, and it's fair enough to say in hindsight, but it's fairly obvious to everyone at the time that he was probably going to be good enough, and then he is. He's going to get a big move and make Dundee United a bit of money now, and everyone else is kind of like, oops.
Like I say, QPR are one of the teams in the English Championship heavily linked with him. And then, as I said before, it'd be nice if that happened. Like say, Stephen, tomorrow or something would be nice.
I mean, to be fair, like when he was at Ayr, like I was asking for him, like for last 2 seasons now, because it's an out-and-out striker that we require. He can play on his own, which he's proved at 2 clubs now, in a level which, with some of the clubs in our league, like they can go like toe to toe with him. So I mean, there's no excuse why he couldn't. And obviously, he's got international recognition.
The only thing I would kind of worry about is like it's all rumours. We don't know for certain. Only Shankland will know. But like the rumours are that he's on like $5 or $6 a week, and that would be about $3 more than any Hibs players getting paid.
Well, so what's Deutsch on though? Deutsch must be on like $4 or $5.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd guess because you see that the Hibs wage bracket's $4 to $5. So if he was to be above and beyond that, then other players are going to want the same. And I don't know if he had done enough to come in and earn, be the top earner at Hibs, and put a strain on our wage budget with other players then sort of demanding that sort of money.
Well, do it the proper way and give him his money back in bonuses. Give him a standard wage and then give him goal bonuses.
I think if it's true what he's on at Dundee United, the rumours, if they are true, I think he would have went to Dundee United, even if Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen and that had made offers. They wouldn't have been able to match what Dundee United are giving him. If it's true, it's just all rumours, but. So anyway, that's all hearsay. So getting to Hibs then, obviously we've had the winter break. We've kind of had the benefit of that, or maybe not the benefit, depending on how you want to look at it. But we've had a few weeks off, a few weeks in Spain. The win against Wilhelm too. So we've seen, obviously the 2 teams play against Wilhelm and stuff. The changes at half time. Ollie Shaw played the 90 minutes, got the 2 goals. So let's start with Ollie Shaw then. With that being a cup game, Dave, start with yourself. Do you think it's an opportunity for Ollie Shaw to come in and get a start?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Nah.
He's had about 3 years to show now, and I think just because he scored a couple of goals in a friendly we've played two different teams, 2 different halves, is just I just think it's irrelevant, to be honest with you. It's just all about going out there and fitness, and I don't think you can take his performance and be like, right, you scored 2 goals against them, so you're getting a start ahead of a Dodge or a Canberra, or I don't know if Canberra's fit, but
yeah, I don't know either. And obviously Boyle played up top the last 2 games as well, so that's maybe an option as well. So what about the likes of Tom James? We've kind of been saying, a guy who didn't do that much wrong, maybe had a bad game against Celtic at Hampden, but done well at left back in pre-season. Stephen, would you like to see Tom James come in? I mean, with it being a cup game, maybe a couple of changes.
Yeah, well, I mean, he played the cup game he played the cup games at the start of the season with the Betfred. He played pretty much all of them at left back. So, I mean, you hear like a lot of clubs playing depleted squads and stuff when it comes to cup games. Give him a chance and see what he can do. Like he's done enough for me to warrant a position in the squad then.
Dave, would you like to see Tom James come in and get a game?
Nah, to be honest with you, I think with it being a cup game, I'd stick with Stevenson at left back and play. I'd probably still go with Naismith until David Gray's got another few games under his belt, or at least some minutes. So a cup game I want to win. At the end of the day, our season's where is our season now? I don't see us catching Aberdeen or Motherwell. So I want a cup run.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, before the pre-season, we were playing this diamond. It was kind of what had been done before Jack Ross came in. He's now had 3 weeks away with the players to get to know the players better, see them kind of in a lot of training. Do you think we'll stick with the diamond? Both of you, starting with yourself, Stephen, what do you think? Do you think we'll stick with the diamond, or do you think we might see a change in formation?
I think there's opportunities to be had with different formations. Obviously, it just depends on who we've got fit as well up front. Because obviously, if you've not got 2 strikers, then you can't really play a diamond. So, I think that with Gullen coming back now, maybe if Canterbury's not ready, at least give Gullen half a game. I'd maybe start Boyle up front, maybe move him onto the wing at the second half, and then put Gullen on, give him a run out. Because obviously, I mean, he's been playing at that lower level, but he's been doing well. So, I think you don't want to make wholesale changes, because obviously you're wanting a good cup run, like Dave said. I mean, this is probably our best chance. I don't even know if you can still qualify for European football if you win the Scottish Cup.
Aye.
Now, but if that's the case, then I mean that's probably our best route into it now. There's no point in playing like half a squad against a Dundee United team that'll be playing full strength and wanting to win.
Fair enough. There's me kind of planning on my 6 changes because it's a cup game, but now you've made good points and kind of argued against it. What about yourself, Dave? Do you think we'll still see this time, or do you think we'll see Jack Ross starting to try something more of his own?
I hope, maybe even if it's not this game, but I hope in the next couple of games we're not as predictable as we were the last 5 or 6. We've kind of played the same formation the whole time, the same subs, like run about the same time in the game, and it has felt very safe. And if I was an opposition manager, I kind of know what we're doing and when. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
so I hope if 3 weeks he'd been away, they can maybe have tried different shapes and that. And it'll be up to him, obviously, what he sees fit to beat Dundee United. I've not seen Dundee United enough to know. Like, he might go with a diamond because that's the best way to set up against them, or like whatever, or he feels that we can get in, attack them, which is fine. I'm not going to be like, oh, you can't play that because it was rubbish against Livingston. Completely different ball game, this one. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we set up. And I mean, as much as people kind of don't like, I know there's a lot of Hibs fans are that keen on Dundee United, and more so aren't keen on Robbie Nielsen. I'm looking forward to getting back in the league, because this is an away day I'm really looking forward to. Tannadice thinks away is a great away day, and same with Dundee being in the league as well. Dundee away I think it's a great away day. Yeah, either way, and yeah, looking forward to it. Anyway,
yeah, Robbie Nielsen is a bell end though.
Yeah, so. Aye, we'll agree on that. So with we've talked about how well Dundee United are doing. Stephen's kind of ran through their form at the moment. 34 points out of possible 36. We've been a bit inconsistent, but we're the Premier League team. Who's the favourites for this game?
I'd say I think the bookies will probably have it quite tight, but I'd say the fact that they're on a winning run and they're scoring goals for fun, like they've got a goal difference of plus like 32 or something like that, and we're -7. I'd say that a lot of people will be in a punt on Dundee United.
Stephen?
I think bookies will still put us favourites just because we're a Premier League team.
But getting away from bookies, who do you think will be the favourites?
I think that they'll be favourites at home. Like, if you just ran through like what their like points are at home, and 34 points out of 36. Like, we're kind of string 2 wins together. So
I'm hopeful that we will be able to do something. But then you look at our last few away performances. Like, obviously against Hearts it was different, it's a derby, but you look away to Ross County, got beat unconvincing. Away to Livingston, got beat unconvincing. I thought we were quite unconvincing away to St Mirren. We managed to sneak a win.
Very unconvincing away to Celtic as well.
Yeah, and it's just wee things like that sneak into my head, but I'm thinking that Jack Ross never had any time with the players then, so I think we'll actually be able to judge him quite a lot after this game, because if it still is unconvincing, you'll be like, look mate, you've just took the team away for 3 weeks and we've still got the same problems. I would hope to be able to see something here, but see what happens.
Yeah, well, I have to say I was really looking forward to away day in Dundee, but I'm after listening to you two, maybe not so much now.
I'm still buzzing for it, mate. Like you say, Dundee United away is I've actually never been to Tannadice, and you ripped me for that. You're like, you're not a real fan. No, I am a real fan. It's just my papa at the time would have been like, oh, we're not going up to Dundee, son. And I'd be like, oh, right. And then the last few years, I've not been there. So,
to be fair, it was quite easy for me. I was in uni in Dundee for a few years, so I got to a few Dundee games with both stadiums because it was actually closer than Easter Road for a couple of years. So, aye. But great away day. I'm looking forward to it. So, aye, finally then, score predictions for the game. What are you going for?
I'm going to go against everything I've just said and say that we will win. 2-1.
Okay.
3-1 Hibs.
Oh. Does it go to extra time or does it go to a replay?
Replay.
I'm going to go replay. 1-1, and then back to Easter Road.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much in it, but...
So just a couple of quick bits, I guess news, whatever you want to call them. But first off, Martin Boyle, Player of the Month, well deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes it pretty convincingly.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of Rangers players probably arguing their case after a win at Parkhead, but no, I mean the 2 goals at Tynecastle, his goals against Aberdeen, a brilliant month for him.
I think it's just the fact that
I thought you meant within the club.
No,
he's won the Player of the Month for the SPL.
Was not paying attention to that. So when I was like, quite convincingly, I thought you meant within the Hibs team. I wasn't just sounding like an arse, but aye, fair enough. Fucking best player in Scotland, mate.
Be away to Celtic next week.
Well, that was my next thing. He's been linked with Celtic. Obviously, there's a Lennon connection there. What's your kind of thoughts on that? Stephen, start with yourself.
Ambitious. I don't think he'll get moved to Celtic.
Should he go if there's any?
Of course he should. It's our brothers in green. We can
enough of that.
Help them win the league.
Dave, if there's any truth to it, should it be a move that he's interested in?
Nah, I'd be careful if I was him, because it could, just because he's in the best kind of run his career now, and after sitting it for so long, you would hate for him to go back and be sitting on the bench and coming on bit part in that. And you know what Celtic are like with signing players from other clubs. There's only a handful that ever actually do anything.
I think in the last 15 years, all the players that have went from Hibs to Celtic, I think only Gary Caldwell and Scott Brown had a prolonged period in the team.
Ulrich Larsson as well, but I don't know what year he went. I don't know how far back that might be. That may be before that. You're talking about a 15-year spell. I'm forgetting what year it is and how old we all are. Midlife crisis there. So back to my point, Boyle.
And Andy's bird plays with Hibs.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
so they can go to work together in the car.
Aye, they've got that.
He's got a driving ban still.
He's in the Australia setup. He's getting his game for Australia. He's doing well for Hibs. I like you say, I think it'd be a worrying one to see him go sit on the bench. If I'm honest though, I think things are still a bit dodgy between Hibs and Celtic after the whole McGinn thing. So that might do us a favour in this case. It might hinder us getting Lee Griffiths back, but that'll be the only reason that doesn't happen.
The whole McGinn thing. So we asked for money
for
a player that we thought was worth what Aston Villa then ended up paying. And Celtic started greeting about it. I don't understand that.
I know
why there's such bad blood. They can.
It's very petty.
Yeah.
So here's a question then.
If
Hibs turned round, just think back to the Scott Allen deal where we got Henderson and McGeoch. If Celtic offered us Griffiths for Boyle.
Nah, I'd keep Boyle.
I would keep Boyle.
Dave?
Yeah, I'd probably say I'd keep Boyle as well, purely because Griffiths, you don't know how he's going to come back for everything that he's been through. So that would be my only slight concern, even though I think it's definitely worth a gamble.
Yeah.
Going for him without losing Boyle, I still think that should happen.
Yeah.
They just signed another striker, so.
I know. He'll be down the pecking order. But I'm more worried about the fact that it's 13 days in and where's my central defensive midfielder. But Ophir Marciano has also been talking in the papers. He's very happy at Hibs. He was determined to leave when Heckingbottom was there. But he's came out and sort of said how happy he is now. I'm going to get the quote in a second, but good to see that Ophir's happy at the club, Stephen.
No, it was more the fact that he was turning around and saying that he would need to leave Hibs to keep his place in the Israel squad. But the thing was, he was still playing for Israel when he wasn't getting a game for Hibs.
So but how long would that have lasted if he wasn't?
No, it wouldn't have lasted now. But I mean, the fact is, obviously, he's now getting his game regular. Why would he want to leave? Because every club, any club that he goes to now, he's 31. He's not guaranteed to be a starter and keeper for any other club unless he goes back to like home nation type clubs.
I think he's amazing.
I wouldn't want him to stay at Hibs if I thought he was shite.
I don't know. I think Celtic have got a goalkeeper on loan till the end of the season. If they were,
it's an 18-month deal.
Is it 18 months for? Oh, that's fine then. Don't worry about that then. Yeah, they're not getting enough from Marcel. Anyway, he said, Hibs are in my heart. I like the fans. I like the club and the people here. Off your Marciano, he's from me to say, insists he's happy at the club despite having hinted he'd leave earlier in the season. Dave, what's your kind of thoughts on that then?
No, it's decent. I think him and Bogdan worked well last year. Like one came in, one came out, and it's fine. You weren't actually really bothered about who was in, and it felt nice to have two strong number ones. Because that's how I'd describe the two of them. The two of them were good enough to be number one. So I would want Marciano to stay.
Yeah, the
best goalkeeper we've had in the last decade. So.
And like say Bogdan, hopefully we get to a situation where he's the number two pushing Marciano again, but apparently that deal won't go through until we get Maxwell out, and I think it's an FA rule that to do with loans, if you want to terminate a loan you have to find the player another club to go on loan to. It's a bit of a strange one, but I think that's the FA ruling.
Unless the parent club recalls the player,
right, then
he needs to have another club to go to before we can ship him out. But I mean, to be fair, like I'd stick him at Trinent Juniors or something, just so they could. So
Trinent Juniors aren't going to pay his wages. I think that's more of a wages thing. Dave, what's your kind of thoughts on that? The fact that we'll have to wait on Maxwell going out in order to get Bogdan in.
Yeah, well, there's nothing we can do, is there? Like, I would hope that we've like kind of said to him, look, mate, you're not going to be getting a game. So I do want to just be a bit. No picky with who you're going to, if that's all right. Like I don't know if we make. I don't want. The thing is, you've got to think about it though. Like he came in, he's probably tried his best, and he didn't want to just start treating him like crap. Like
no,
do you know what I mean?
Aye. Nice guy, and obviously we want to find him a club that will suit him. But at the same time, we want to do what's best for us, and that seems to be the plan to get Bogdan in. And you wonder how long that's been the plan, because we kind of were like. When we heard Bogdan had signed a short-term deal, we were thinking, that's a strange one. We're talking about maybe, he was just coming in to train with us and then go to MLS, and it's like, well, why? How do Hibs benefit from that? It looks now that he came in on a short-term deal on pretty much pennies, and we're now trying to give him a proper contract, but we can't do that until Maxwell goes in. I guess this comes to the whole budget thing. What do you make on Hibs being, I guess sensible would be kind of a leading question, but strict with their budget. What's your kind of thoughts on that, guys? Dave, start with yourself.
You would kind of forget that we just had a takeover, wouldn't you? I mean, we were wanting to challenge for the league. I think that's what he said, didn't he?
Europe, guaranteed Europe. He said.
No, but he did say Hibs to be a team that could win the league.
Yeah. So, and we're losing out on players, like whether we were interested in McGeoch is another matter, but apparently we weren't, which is baffling in itself. But if he's went there for obviously more money, then we're still not competing with Aberdeen there. I mean, we're talking about how Shankland would have still picked Dundee United because of the money he's getting at Dundee United. They're a team they're in the lower division, and we're still not competing with them then financially, and because they've got obviously millionaire owners that actually spend money. So until we get to that stage and he puts something behind his words, because he's not really done that, he's not backed up with anything. Obviously the AGM's meant to be coming and he's meant to have all these grand plans, so fine, fair play. But until that happens and he shows something, then fans are going to be sceptical, because that's what fans do. They don't think with anything else other than, I'm illogical. What am I thinking? I want to go and buy players that other clubs are getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dave, I know you want to kind of pull a quick rant. I mean, the fact that speculation Hibs weren't in for McGeoch. What's your kind of thoughts on that?
Pissed off. I wanted McGeoch. I just think if you get the opportunity to have two of your midfield back out of McGinn, McGeoch and Allen, 18 months after they all got split up, but I'd have been like, oh my God, like no way is that going to happen, because we'd not got split up. I was like, that's it. You know what I mean? To be able to have the chance to have 2 out of 3 back, didn't happen. We said no. Player of the year, 18 months ago as well. Just nah, we don't need him. Even we don't need him, he's better than every other midfielder we've got. So whether he's not the defensive midfielder that we need, he's still better than what we've got. So are we going to try and get better, or are we going to stagnate? And I know people are like, but we don't want to look back, because I've seen loads of people say that on Twitter and that. But I just think with that type of player, you know exactly what you're going to get, and you're going to get that he was our best player.
But with the counter argument to be to that, the fact that season where he got Player of the Year has been the only season where he's managed a full season without injuries, and the reason that apparently it's not worked out at Sunderland is due to injuries. And Jack Ross has been the manager that's seen him over that period of time.
Right, and what did I say to you in the group chat? We didn't seem to bother about offering people contracts with injuries. We just gave David Gray 4 years. He's not been playing the last couple of seasons. In fact, since we've had David Gray, he's been injured like every season for a period of time.
Sure, it's a good point. Good counter argument, yeah. So obviously David Gray's a bit older, and that's maybe to do with more that I know you don't agree with, but it's more to do with like the coaching and that, like keeping him on at the club long term. But you make a good argument about the fact that he's always had injuries, and that's not stopped us kind of signing him down. But McGeoch didn't head in a 92nd minute goal against Rangers in a cup final.
He didn't know, but he played the whole game as well. So
yeah, no, I knew that was coming. Yeah. So to finish up, then, I mean, have you seen any other rumours to do with the transfer window to get excited about?
Saw that Wilfred Boney rejected Sheffield Wednesday, so he's still in the hunt.
He apparently wants to move to France, though.
Yeah, well, France, Scotland, what's the difference? Multicultural.
So Stephen still wants Wilfred Boney. Dave, have you heard anything exciting? Any rumours at all?
I'm not gonna lie, I've heard absolutely nothing, but I've not really went hunting for it because I hate the transfer window.
Do you?
It winds me up. I hate waiting. I'm impatient.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've got unrealistic expectations as well. Like, I want Hibs to sign players that I'm like, I don't need to Wikipedia, but I know that we're Hibs, so I'm probably going to have to. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I made my kind of opinions on this window last week. I mean, I think, yes, central defensive midfielder, even if it's somebody on a 6-month loan, yes, but other than that, I don't want any other 6-month loans. So that's a position we need for the team. But other than that, I think we need to be either making signings that are minimum of 18-month plus, that are going to be there next season. So we're building for next season.
Well, they had this policy, like every player that we sign, it's got to be like 3-year deals or something. That's what the last few players are that we've brought in.
Have been,
so, yeah. It's just, football's not a making money business, and it's like it was explained to me when I got the shares in that in the club. Like, you don't buy shares in a club to make money on it. You look at what Dundee United are doing. They've got owners, and like Dave says, they're spending the money. We've got a new owner who's talking a good game, but he's been here for 6 months now, and he's shown absolutely nothing.
But he said in his first interview that he was happy with the budget for the playing squad.
But
he's
it's
never,
not, though.
So you say he was talking a good game. He's never lied.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But that's the thing, though. If you're going to say that you're happy with the budget, prove that we've got a good squad that's got to back up his statement. He came in, he's talked about winning the league, he's talked about guaranteeing Europe for this season. None of them are realistic right now.
But as I said last week, if he chucked money into the playing squads, in the summer, then it would have been one a bit late last minute, and also it would have been a manager that's no longer there, and signing players that were now, the majority of Heckie's signings.
Yeah,
Middleton and Maxwell But
this is a time though where Jack Ross can make his impression, and there have been good players that have went in January so far. We saw Tosin went from like Everton to Crystal Palace.
I don't think we can compete with Crystal Palace.
No, we're not competing with it. But I'm saying, I mean, like players that are our level. Like you just saw Aberdeen sign McGeoch on a 2.5-year deal. You saw like Haaland go in that. It's like obviously our level again, but it's like, to be honest, I hope that McGeoch turns out as bad as Ojo for Aberdeen, another player that we were linked to, and he's done absolute horse shit. Like, it's that kind of thing where if we had McGeoch, everybody would laud him, but we need something to get through this season, because the players that we've got now, they aren't going to get us top 4 this season, 100%.
I think we're on a kind of quite a dangerous level now of like, we've obviously ran on the fumes of winning the cup for quite a while, records, attendances and all that, right? Then you had the takeover, like that obviously was a really good feeling in that too, but I think the club are at a level where we're getting dished up bang average, if no below average, and we're still getting expected to pay, and it's not getting better. And I'm thinking you're going to see a decline in attendances and that if we don't acknowledge the fact that we are bang average. And if we want to be bang average, we need to come out and be like, I'm happy with fighting to get into the top 6 every season. But we're coming out and saying we want a chance for Europe. And the only thing is, and I kind of agree with Gav saying to a certain extent, we at the end of the day, we mucked that up. We signed too many players under Heckenbottom the last summer. We had an absolute horrible window, and Dempster, she couldn't really say anything else, came out and said it was a good window.
Yep.
I just think we're shooting ourselves in the foot, like, and the whole club's making itself open for criticism, for that type of thing. So I'm hoping there's a big feel-good factor coming when all this gets announced, all these plans and that at the end of January apparently. But again, as a nice shiny new stadium doesn't mean for nothing if your team's shite in the park.
And that was the thing as well. It was the fact that obviously we brought in all the players. We never got rid of as many players as we brought in, and we never needed to expand on the playing squad because we've got plenty, like, in under 20s that can push up. We've got a squad there that was good enough at the end of last season to get top 6, and that's what we've ended up with, only with more players taking up wages. And we've restricted ourselves in the budget with all the players. We can get rid of Maxwell, we can get rid of Middleton, but for us to bring in a player, it's got to be the same quality, because who else have we got to get on a better wage, or where we've got to pay a fee to get them in the door?
See, I think that's where it makes the January window more difficult. And if you're not going to get that quality, as long as we get a central defensive midfielder, then, you know, to see us through this season, I think that's where the building's got to come in the summer.
But that's the thing though. Where have we got to get a centre defensive midfielder if we can't get enough players out the door to free up enough wages for it? Because if we get rid of Maxwell, we're not going to get a central defensive midfielder in it, because that money's going to Bogdan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
so
I don't know. We'll wait and see. Like I said, we said that, you know, the budget was used up, and then we signed Hallberg. So if it's a player we need, the money's there if it needs to be. I don't know. I'm sure we'll kind of. It's 13 days. I know I'm getting a bit itchy, but I'm sure by day 22 we'll have a central defensive midfielder. If we don't, then I'll start to get then I'll start to get shaky.
Do you think everybody's getting itchy because we've, for the first time in our lives, had a couple of seasons where it was kind of like back-to-back success? We won silverware. Like, we won a trophy in 2016, 2017 we won a trophy, 2018 we had a record season. Think it's like, this is, and then all the European really runs as well in that year. You forget you're a Hibs fan. So this is actually us now. Is we're just Hibs again.
No, we'll have to make that we've got that taste for success, and it has to stay. We can't go back to mediocrity.
But that's what I'm worried about. But
I worry this season could be a transition season, and Ross builds in the summer for next season, but that puts more pressure on next season. So I don't know, we'll wait and see. But anyway, we've got the cup, so hopefully a nice cup run, a big win against Dundee United, and we'll be all cheery next week, and we'll have our central defensive midfielder signed to come next Monday, so it'll be much better. And then we'll sign Omiyonga at the end of the window, and I'll be dancing. I'll let you guys go. Stephen, I think you're going to bed because you've got a broken tooth and your kids have kept you up. Dave, what are you planning tonight?
Probably go back to getting beat at FIFA all the time. I'm absolutely hopeless at it, but I'm persevering through, mate, to try and be a bit better. And I discovered, and I've showed you that you can we've got some free advertising.
Aye, you've named your team Hibs Talk.
My team's Hibs Talk, so on the advertising boards around the stadium are Hibs Talk, is Hibs Talk. So You're welcome, mate. A wee bit of brand awareness.
Brilliant. Right.
It's no good brand awareness because I'm getting humped every game, but our name's getting out there, mate.
Right, for us, we're going to finish up there, but the podcast still got another half an hour to go. I had a chat with the football barber. He explains a lot better than what I can. What he does. He basically does a lot of great work with elderly people and things like that. But yeah, I'll let him explain what he does. So here is my chat with the football barber. So joining me now is Martin, aka the football barber. How you doing, Martin?
Very well, mate. Thanks very much.
Good. So for those who don't know you are, can you give a brief explanation of who you are and what it is you do?
Yeah, as you just touched on, my name is Martin. I created a business called the Football Barber, and the idea was to support men, predominantly in care homes, who are disenfranchised and can't actually physically access a barbershop. So I take the barbershop experience to them, create a pop-up barbershop environment within the salons and the care homes, and as well as giving them a barbering experience and taking them back to a time where they could have accessed it. I also provide a dementia-friendly service, so I provide reminiscence materials. We have a sing-song, we talk, we look back on old memories, and it supports them with regards to their condition when I'm in the care homes.
That's brilliant. So I mean, obviously we're going to talk about how you kind of started it, but what were you doing before this?
I was working in care, so I was a support worker for an organisation called the Richmond Fellowship. So I supported young adults predominantly who had a multitude of different conditions that varied between physical and mental ill health, and I put in place support plans and delivered practical support in 24-hour services for some guys with, for example, autism, mental health issues, forensics, and so on and so forth. So I've done that for many years, and I kind of hit a glass ceiling, and I was quite conscious that I wanted to continue to deliver sort of frontline support as opposed to doing more administrative stuff. So I took a gamble, and just as I got married, I opted to go to college, learned the skill set of being a barber, and then put in place the business, which I'm doing now.
So what was it about the connection with football that made you kind of decide to go down that route?
Well, I love football. I just love football. I was quite aware. I'd done quite a bit of research into it, and nothing like this existed. So I could have just went into the sort of, I could have provided the service, could have just worked in a barbershop. The aim and time is to open my own barbershop, but I'll be themed around what I'm currently doing, so I'll be quite specific with regards to the football barber. But I very much could have, as I say, just went and worked in a barbershop. I could have even provided the services in the care homes, which would have been completely unique because, to my knowledge, there was absolutely zero when I started. I'm not sure if it's changed now, but when I started this concept, there was no barber in any care home, not even just in Edinburgh, but in Scotland. But to do something somewhat different was my main sort of primary concern. Guys, I've said this to numerous people, guys and women, people don't stop being who they are because they age, because they get various different conditions. They're still the same person. You just need to tap in and expose and extract their personalities. And a lot of the guys, they come to life. So when you're able to talk about old football matches, show them tangible material like programmes, or talk about old games, sing songs with them, look through the old things like the Rattles. I run a thing called the Pie and Bovril group. Getting the guys to be able to, one, personally interact in a level with a peer group again is pivotal. So the guys all come to the barber shop, and a lot of the times, like the other day, for example, on Friday at Manor Grange, it's all at the same time. So I go in various different care homes, and the activity coordinators will bring the guys in so they can sit and have a natter with each other. I can kind of almost micromanage it and coordinate it. Sometimes they've got a wee beer, like the other day, they'll sit and have a beer, they'll have a natter. We do the half-time club so the guys can kind of reminisce. So a lot of the boys will say, Stanton was my player, or another boy will say, Dave McKay, what a player he was a real man, and blah, blah, blah. So, and it's almost as if the guys are still playing now, because that's how prevalent and visual it is in their minds. They were the guys that they were watching, they were the guys they idolised, very similar to maybe yourself if you were a Sosie man or something like that. So the guys, their memories for them are still as prevalent now as they were then, and it's being able to tap into that, extracting that, and allowing the guys to just sort of, one, immerse themselves and enjoy that, and two, give them something that give them something a wee bit back, give them the opportunity, if you like, to be able to just enjoy themselves, but in something that they fondly, firmly enjoyed themselves, and predominantly for a lot of guys and for so many in society, that is football.
Yeah, and I mean, like myself, my granny was, she had dementia, and I always remember how difficult an experience it was for her getting her hair cut. It was quite traumatic.
Yep.
So, my mum would often go along and try and like sing songs and stuff to try and distract her. So do you feel people that would usually find getting their hair cut quite a difficult experience, this definitely helps them?
Oh, definitely. It was talked on pretty well. I think we're going to revisit it shortly, but it was talked on to see the tangible benefits by the Queen Margaret University. One of the professors there that deals with dementia, I know her son quite well as a journalist, so that was something we were looking into, sort of developing and exploring the direct link and what it does. I've also done a wee bit of work. I've done a couple of interviews and looking to further that with a thing called A Playlist for Life. They're an organisation, I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but they're doing a lot of good work about specific playlists for individuals with dementia and tapping into that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the guys, it just varies. You can't necessarily say one between one another, but there is individuals that have supported. Some love the experience, they thrive on it. They'll write on their walls. Some of the guys have got pictures of myself and them when we've been in the barber shop, and they'll keep that in their rooms. And some guys, it's the highlight of their month. Like I had one guy, for example, that hadn't come out of his room for 3 months. Wow. I started going in, he'd heard the music, he'd heard what happened, and eventually now he comes along every single month, and it's a staple each month. It's something he really looks forward to. And he was socially isolated, completely and utterly dependent on his own company, very introverted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. So it's something that's benefited him. There's a gentleman that I support. In fact, I'll actually see him in the care home I'm going into tomorrow. And obviously I can't go into detail with names and things like that, but he was phenomenally reclusive, very, very intellectual. He was a professor, a lecturer at various different universities, and his dementia so extreme I used to actually go and visit him in his unit. He started to relax, so created a wee bit of a relationship. Now, I would say, I'd like to think I could say he seems to trust me. He now shakes my hand, which is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And he never spoke for I might be lying, but I think it was a couple of years. There and thereabouts, maybe 1 or 2 years apparently. He hadn't really verbalised anything. So at the last time I gave him a haircut, he shook my hand at the end and he said thanks, which was huge. So the guys do take a lot from it. The staff also, and there's been numerous instances where I've spoken to, particularly more so I would say, if anything, some family members, sons, uncles, fathers, brothers, and wives and things like that, and they'll come up and say, I've seen a massive change in him, or he'll be humming or singing a song for a couple of days after I leave, or things will play in their mind. A lot of the guys, one thing I do is, depending on who they support, I try and make it as person-centred as I can. So, along at Albion Road, the wee programme shop.
Yeah, I know. Well,
there's a football memorabilia shop, so I go in there and Brian, I'll just tell them what teams each guy in the care home supports, so I try and make it as specific as I can.
That's brilliant.
So if I could extrapolate what team they support or what year was the best year they supported them, say for example Aberdeen, best year for them was Gothenburg, say it was St Johnstone, so on and so forth, Dunfermline, 1950 and so on, all that. So I'll take, I'll go and get specific programmes. So say for example it was Dunfermline, like I was just saying, I went and got a programme for a gentleman because he loved Norrie McCarthy. So I went and got him the Norrie McCarthy testimonial against Newcastle United. And that was just massive for him. So I'll keep some in my collection so I can still use it in other care homes, and I'll buy 2 and then I just give it to the gents so they keep it in their room. So all the boys will a lot of them will keep the programmes in their room with them, which is quite nice. It's something they can look forward to and wee bit different, breaks up their day as opposed to watching TV and things like that. And then when I come back, I'll give them other ones. And as I say, it all depends on the capacity. It depends on what the individual gets out of the experience. But wherever possible, I'll try and make it as person-centred as I can for each individual. And generally, to answer your question, I think a lot of people really do find it beneficial because more often than not, they're quite relaxed in my environment, which is nice.
That's brilliant to hear. And I mean, I guess you kind of touched on it there, but like I'm guessing you've had to kind of go and sort of build up a big football knowledge from years ago, from obviously before you were even born, never mind watching and stuff, because it's obviously an older clientele and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I just love football anyway. I mean, I think most people in this country, a lot of guys anyway, have got a sort of addiction, if you like, to football. And I'm no different. I would read as much as I can. Historical sort of, like historic football, taking it back even to the 20s, 30s and 40s, predominantly for my football club. My interest was Celtic, and understanding the history was pivotal for me, and knowing as much as I could about the foundations of the club, what it meant, the representation, the old players that played for the club and so on and so forth. And I've just got to carry that over and taking that on. So generally speaking, I would say my knowledge of football in the main with regards to players, clubs and things like that is relatively quite good. So it was an easy-ish transition. I never really struggled too much. If they'd asked me about old players in the main, I could have obviously spoke about the more sort of prominent ones. But it's phenomenal. You sit and listen to some of the stories for the guys and you're learning all the time, and I'm always happy to sit and give them an ear, and they can tell me about their favourite players of bygone days. And one gentleman actually went to school with Laurie Riley. I was having an amazing conversation with him, and he was telling all these different stories about him as a laddie. And one gentleman that was supporting him in one of the care homes, he was a doctor actually for Hibernian in the 1950s when Harry Swan was there.
Aye.
And he was very, very good friends with Gordon Smith. So I was having an amazing conversation. I just actually stay opposite Gordon Smith's old pub, the right wing. It's gone now. So I was having a good chat with him, and he was telling me all these different stories about how Harry Swan wanted to procure 40% of the pub, and that was the reason why he actually left Hibernian, because he refused to sign the contract and then give over 40% of his pub. But he's only playing outside Celtic and Rangers, who never won the league at 3 different clubs. Because obviously he left and went and won it at Dundee, and then obviously he won it at Hearts. But it's fascinating. You learn all the time, and the guys are amazing. They're a fountain of knowledge, and they've lived so long, and their memory is just absolutely astonishing. They might not be able to remember what they had for breakfast, but they'll be able to take you back to 1945 and they'll 55, 65, and they'll tell you all these different games. It's just tremendous.
I'm guessing you'll be able to sort of take some of that knowledge or get hearing stories about Laurie Riley, and then a month later you've maybe got another Hibs fan. You're talking about Hibs, and he's talking about you're able to then use that built knowledge and tell him stories that you've then had passed on. Yeah,
definitely. You can regurgitate it and go back to the guys. Then you've got a point of reference and familiarity. And I would say generally speaking, the main guys out. Generally speaking, because I predominantly support people in central Scotland, so it's a central belt, and some of the borders, some of Fife, and predominantly Edinburgh and the Lothians. So most of the teams, most of the guys that would support them would be your Hibs, Hearts, Rangers, very few Celtic actually, some Dunfermline, a couple of St Johnstone, and a couple of Aberdeen, and one gentleman supports Falkirk, and out with that's predominantly it. I had one lovely guy, he was a Clyde fan, supported the Bully Wee, so I used to go and get him different stuff for Clyde and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, he recently passed away, which is another sort of prevalent aspect of the game, because it's unbelievable. You develop such an attachment. You look forward to seeing these guys. You see them month to month, and then obviously it's part of old age, unfortunately, is a lot of these guys pass away. So that's quite harrowing at times, especially when you've developed quite a nice rapport and relationship with the guys, and you're looking forward to seeing them. But the main, like some of the care homes I've been in there as well, have provided support and palliative services. So guys that are sort of in their last couple of days, unfortunately, of life. So being able to go up, making them look as good as I can, providing a wee bit of comfort and reassurance for the gentleman and also for the family, gives them a wee bit of peace of mind as well. So yeah, it's in the main, it's a very, very good job. But I think it'd be naive to say that it's always in a sort of upward trajectory, because there is some days it's quite hard. Some of the clients you support are very, very unwell. They really, really struggle. But I'm quite fortunate that I never just came in from a barbering perspective. I came in from a care perspective, so I can utilise my skill set with working in the care sector, and then transfer that into the current situation that I'm doing now, which probably stands me in better stead, to tell you the truth.
That's a great bit you kind of touched on there, especially like you say about the families. I can speak from experience how much that would mean to family members. That haircut will do a lot for them and stuff. But like you say, family members noticing a difference, but also especially like towards the end of care and stuff, seeing them look more like their parent or their grandparent and stuff whilst they're in the last days, amazing stuff. So and obviously a difficult thing you do. So a lot of respect for that. But a lot of Hibs fans might have seen you at Easter Road just over a month ago. What was that for, and how did that come about?
So I run a few groups in day centres. One of them is the North Edinburgh Dementia Centre down at the Seagrove. So there's a group of guys that are supporting there, lovely group of guys. The group, I call it the Pie and Bovril group. So they literally get a pie and a bovril, sometimes a wee beer. We'll sit in a banana, look over programmes. I run a football quiz for the guys. Sometimes we'll specifically hone in on stadiums, some players, old cups, things like that. So I just thought that it would be something a wee bit different to be able to bring it to life and take the guys to the stadium, as opposed to just doing it in the day centre. So I thought, right, 1 month I'll take the guys along to Easter Road, and then this month coming up I'm going to take the guys along to Tynecastle. So I suggested it to the boys. A lot of the older generation, they might have went to Easter Road 1 week and Tynecastle the next, but for many of the guys, it's just not practically possible going along, experiencing these sort of crowds, being in that environment. So some of the guys don't get to the games, unfortunately, these days. So I just thought it'd be nice to take them along. So facilitated that with Hibs. They were very good. Got along there, and Susan was lovely. She came round, and we'd done a wee tour of the stadium, which was nice. I took a wee ball in, and the guys got a wee kick about in the changing room and what have you. Went out to the pitch, had a wee sing song, and the guys got to have a wee look around, which was just phenomenal. Because one of them actually was quite taken aback because there was obviously seats in these stands. Just small things like that. They would have been used to the old terracing, and it was obviously slightly smaller. But obviously back in the 60s, it was split in 2 levels. So he used to stand in the upper sort of area of the concourse of the far east, next to what's now the famous 5. And then one of the other guys used to stand near the Dunbar end. Some of the boys also used to just switch it. They used to walk for one. The first half would be in one end, and second half would go up the other, up the slope. But it was brilliant for them. They really enjoyed it, and they got so much out of that day, which was lovely. So there was a wee video taken, if that's what you're making reference to, and it done the rounds a wee bit on social media. Even the news covered it as well. And the guys got an amazing experience out of it. So hopefully we'll do the same at Tynecastle, and they can go up and enjoy that. And then I think maybe in a few months' time, I've done a course on a wee bit of work with Football Memory Scotland. So the plan is to take the guys through to Hampden as well. So we'll take them through to the National Stadium, and they can go and get a feel and experience Hampden Park again, which will be quite nice for the guys.
Oh, that'll be amazing. Aye, maybe not so much Tynecastle, but Hampden definitely. And Joe, from speaking to you before, you said you've kind of done some work with the Hibernian Historic Trust. What kind of work have you done with them, and how did you get involved with them?
So one of the guys, he's definitely worthy of a plug. His name's Tom Wright. He's a phenomenal person.
Aye, Tom's
brilliant
great
guy. He's very selfless. He's a Hibs historian, so he knows the club inside out. First and foremost, he's just a really nice guy. He's an absolute gentleman. So I'd informed the club what I was doing. This was when I was sort of starting out in the infancy of the business, and explaining the reason what I was doing, trying to make it quite socially conscious, trying to get involved with football clubs and see if I could procure some material for using in the care homes, and seeing if I could develop some sort of relationship. So that's basically started. Hibs and Hearts were both very good to invite me along to projects that they run. Hibs now and Hearts, to give them their due, both are doing a lot of good work, primarily based in the community, which I think football clubs should be. They should be intrinsically linked with the community surrounding and trying to help, as opposed to just being a vessel for commercialism and making money. They're taking a bigger step, I would say, now in delivering projects. So Hibs do a lot of great work. So the Historical Trust are running football memory mornings in conjunction with Football Memories through in Glasgow. So they're taking it out to the stadium, delivering it. So they do that twice a month. So I went along, met Tom, experienced the group. Then there's obviously also different work going on with like Sam H and things like that at Hibs, and different partnerships that they're operating and supporting different groups, which is brilliant. So I got involved with him, kept in contact. Hibs invited me along to an open day at the West Stand, which was nice. So it was an opportunity for the guys that came along. I think there was, not sure, I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 or something turned up that day. So passed through, asking questions, finding out what it is that I do, which was a nice opportunity, and it was a good platform for Hibs to afford me. And then I've just sort of kept in touch since. So as I say, I just got back in contact with him explained what I was doing. I wanted to take the boys on a wee tour, and they couldn't have been more accommodating, so they were brilliant. So that was nice, and hopefully we'll continue to have a working relationship, if you like, in the years going forward, and hopefully when I open the shop and things like that, I'll be able to get a couple of guys for Hibs and Hearts along to maybe open it and try and be involved, because I want to make it as sort of community conscious as I can. There'll be different variables to sort of support different groups, different people, free haircuts for the homeless and so on and such on. So I think that's it's good if you can incorporate the club, because they're a massive audience, and they're now doing a lot of really good work. So it's just nice for me to sort of work in conjunction with them and do a wee bit alongside them.
That's brilliant, and like I say, a big shout out to Tom, who does some great work. Now I know you said you're a Celtic fan, but I understand you kind of make it along to the odd Hibs game.
I do, mate. Aye, too many by the reckoning of some of my mates. I go along to quite a lot of games, mate, to tell you the truth. Half my pals are Celtic, half my pals are Hibs, so and a couple of token jambos. So so basically, I'd go to any game. I'd go down and watch Spartans and all that stuff. It was a game on a couple of times. I've been out to watch Musselburgh and that with my brother-in-law. But if there was a game of football, I'd enjoy watching it. So every now and again, I get free tickets. My wife is an avid Hibbie, so she sits in the East Stand with her uncle and her cousin and things like that. So whenever there's a spare ticket, sometimes they can't make it. Dougie actually lives in Spain, so he's got a house over there. So if he can't make it to a match, I'll sometimes take the ticket. So if Celtic were playing Monday, that'd be my priority. And then obviously if Hibs are playing the next, I'll go on the cast and watch a game, or every now and again a few of my mates, they stand at the far end next to the Dunbar end. So if they've got a spare ticket, I'll nip along to Iona, meet the boys for a few pints, and then head into the Hibs match. So last year actually, I think I got to a few more Hibs games, and some of my pals. I think I was at 11 last year, including the Celtic games. So quite a lot.
Aye. So what's your kind of thoughts been on this season then?
For Hibs?
For Hibs, yeah.
I think a wee bit inconsistent. Typical Hibs. Sometimes they'll look like world beaters one week, and then they sort of pull away the following. Prime example of that would have probably been the week consistently the game against Hearts at Tynecastle, albeit the Hearts are really struggling, and then straight after that the game against Livingston. I think the biggest problem for me in the game against Sevco was that you had two number 10s playing with no number 8 with the ability to win the ball. So you had Malin and Allen both on the same team. I thought Jack Ross done the right thing the week following. Played a lot better because they started with Doidge, no Canberra. I think that was due to injury actually, and then the game against Hearts, and then you had Horgan. But I don't know. I think the Hibs have struggled this season with losing out with Bartley heading off and Milligan. You had two guys that can really impose themselves when it matters, playing in the physical games. Just think it was a wee bit light at times. Big difference getting Boyle back. I think he's been really good. I think injection of pace, but his finishing's improved considerably. But I think if you were being critical, but probably fair, for as nice a guy as he is, I think Hanlon's time at Hibs is probably up. So I think a proper centre-half coming in would be wise. To slot in alongside Poacher, Frank's fantastic. I think Stevenson's done. That was probably shown in the game against Circle at Easter Road. He got tortured. They got doubled up on at times in that wing because they just knew he was under so much pressure. He just struggled. I know he's been phenomenal. I think he's actually Hibs' most decorated player now statistically. But I think probably him and Stevenson and Hanlon's probably the weak link. If I was being honest, I'm not sure Doidge's answer. He's certainly came onto a good scoring vein, but I don't think he's a particularly great player. Lacks a bit of finesse. I think Canberra's a really good striker. But I think it's just about getting that consistency, getting a proper number 8 in. Probably a right winger would be good. Another striker and a centre half and a left back, but there's no danger that's going to be happening all in this window. I think you already touched on, did you know, that there's not that much money to spend, so
It sounds like it's going to be one in, one out, I think, this window.
Yeah, I think someone would have to go out to free up funds. So, not too sure. I don't think that would fill the Hibs fans with confidence, considering the is it Ron Gordon? His name was that just took over. I would have thought there would have been funds available. I know his primary concern was clearing debt, which was phenomenal, and also talking about developing and enhancing the facilities out at Ormiston. But I thought there would have been money afforded, especially to a brand new manager just coming the door. I thought McNulty would have been a priority myself, because he got taken to Sunderland for Jack Ross. I also thought McGook would have come up, but he went to Aberdeen, which is a great bit of business for them. And then probably looking at a centre-half, there's talk at the moment of the laddie Henry going to Hearts. That's another person that probably could have slotted in and done all right at Hibs. So, I'm not sure. I thought he would have been given a few pounds anyway to strengthen the team, because there's definitely a few positions there that need fixed to sort of solidify top six. But Hibs should really be looking to try and capture sort of third or fourth. I would have thought there's a big team, big pool, big stadium. They should be aiming to be at least competing with Aberdeen. I would have thought, to try and get a European place.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think, you mentioned Henry there, the centre back. I think he gets a bit of a hard time because it's not worked out for him at Celtic. But you look at how good a player he was at Dundee. I really agree. I think he would be a good signing. I'll be a bit disappointed if Hearts get him. And I guess obviously get an opinion from a Celtic fan. Then the rumours in the round today, which came out, was Martin Boyle linked to a move with Celtic. Is that one, as a Celtic fan, you'd be interested in?
No, not at all. Not at all. I get tight all the time. People used to always say, you stockpile players and take boys. Prime example being Scott Allen and things like that. I'm not an advocate of that in the slightest. I didn't like taking players that are predominantly doing well in the league. The exact same goes for like Shankland at Dundee United. The same would have went, albeit it went very well for guys like Armstrong. But you look back at players like Chief Chi, and even you look at Riordan and Miller and things like that. I totally understand that they want to play at a better level. The boy, I'm not sure there's anything in the rumour. I think there's maybe just speculation, but I just think he would just. He wouldn't start Boyle at Celtic. He wouldn't start, and I think it's just a waste of talent. He's clearly got ability. He's playing very well in that Hibs team, and I think he should stay there. And if he wants to move on, and the club want to cash in on him, fine. I just think that I'm just not a massive advocate of this. Just picking up players and just filling a squad. Celtic squad's bloated as it is anyway. The last thing they need is another winger. There's currently not using Shred. You've got Arzani from Manchester City. You've still got Forrest. You've obviously Sinclair's just left, and I think it looks like Morgan's away to America with Beckham. But he wasn't really getting used anyway. It was an experiment with the situation with Griffiths playing a false nine and Sinclair not being in favour. But I think if Celtic sits full complement and the players are all fit, I think Boyle wouldn't get anywhere near the team. So I think it'd be a mad move for him. The only thing that would benefit would be his bank balance. But if he wants to do anything and have ambition in the game, I think he should stay at a club where he's wanted. Alan's an amazing example of that as a player. He's not a young lad, obviously, Boyle. What is he, 27 or something? 28?
I think he may only be about 25, 26, but yeah.
Was he 25, sorry. So he's not a young lad. He's no 19, 20-year-olds. So the grass isn't always greener. I didn't see the point in taking him to Hibs to then sit on a bench. I think he's a good player. I think he's better utilised at Hibs and trying to help Hibs get up the league. And I personally I didn't have a problem with Celtic procuring young laddies and developing them and pushing them on in the game, because they've done amazing through the academy. But if they want to go and buy players, go and source players out with, I just think that Scotland should try and create the strongest league possible with the best players possible staying at the clubs for as long as they can. And then if we'd done that, we'd have a wee bit better competition in the league. So personally, that would be my personal perspective anyway. That's only my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and their Boyle is, in the Australia squad, getting this game for Australia, doing well for Hibs. Mm-hmm. He's came back for his injury, and he's had the surgeries to make sure it doesn't come back. Everything's going great for him. It would be a strange one to say. I mean, I know Lennon's a big fan of him, but I hope it's just like a wild rumour rather than something that's actually got truth in it.
Maybe just doing the rounds.
Hopefully.
These things happen all the time. They have to fill papers, they have to write things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for a second I would be shocked if the deal happened, because as you say, Lennon is a big fan and he worked on the Hibs. But I just don't think, from a strategic point of view, it would be worthwhile. I just think he would be a squad player, and what would be the point in going for being a starter who's literally a game changer and can influence Hibs in a massive way, to leaving Hibs and then going to a team where you're barely going to play. I just didn't see the point in that in the slightest.
Yeah, completely agree. So to finish up then, just final thoughts on the season. Firstly, how are Hibs going to do the rest of the season? And secondly, are Celtic going to get their 9th in a row?
Yes, Hibs will do quite well. I think Jack Dawson's a really good appointment. You want to get the best out of him as a manager. I don't think until next season, when he gets his own team. As I say, as we touched on earlier on, I don't know what's going on in the background. We're not providing him with some degree of financial support to bolster the team. Maybe that'll come. We're only a third of the way through the transfer window, and I appreciate it's only the winter transfer, but I don't know. I just think it's a bit of an odd one. But as a manager, I think he's very good. He'll find his form and get a bit of consistency. Hibs will finish in the top 6. I think 5th, actually. I think they'll finish 5th. I think Motherwell and Aberdeen and Sevco will finish above them. And to answer your latter question, yes, I think Celtic will win the league. I think that Gerrard's improved them massively. Some of his comments are baffling right enough, the whole sort of besiege mentality, but I think there's no getting away from the fact that he's definitely improved the team, so that's good to see. They're definitely better, and I don't think it's a bad thing in the slightest to have competition, and who wants to be winning a league by 20 points? It's a bit boring, so I think it'll go a bit closer. I don't think it'll be a helicopter Sunday by any stretch of the imagination. I think they'll pull away. Celtic, I think they'll just get a run of games. Essentially, at the moment, we're actually behind because they've got a game in hand, which I think they'll win. But I think Celtic will put a run of games together, be consistent like they were prior to the Derby defeat, and then I think that we'll probably recruit not too bad. There's talk of the Polish boy coming in who looks very good. I think Celtic will look at another couple of players out and strengthen, and I think their squad's a wee bit thin on the ground. An injury or two will invariably happen around about March time, and my prediction would be that Celtic will win the league by this season 6 points. It was 9 last year. I reckon it'll be 6 this year.
Fantastic. Well, we'll finish up there. Keep up all the great work. It's great to see the work you're doing, and great to see, like you mentioned, Evening News picking up the story and ITV in the past and stuff. So keep up the great work. It's great to see you get some exposure. And thanks for taking the time to have a chat with us today.
Top man, no problem at all, my man. Enjoy your day.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, hope you enjoyed that. Something a bit different on the podcast. Like I say, I think he's doing some great work, so really wanted to just give him the chance to kind of talk about the great work he's doing and have a good chat with him about football as well. Like you say, he's a big football fan. So thanks again for listening, folks. You can follow us at HFC Talk and make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.